Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out GITGUDracing.com. I've coached hundreds of drivers, from real-life racers to sim enthusiasts, who experience rapid improvement after just one session. And while investing in top-notch hardware is great, imagine how much more you can elevate your experience by adding coaching to the mix. My methods are practical, aiming to break down complex concepts into easily digestible bits that are simple to understand. You can find reviews of the sessions I've conducted on the Fiverr link provided in the video description. Let's elevate your racing skills together. Now for the track guide. For turn 1, my reference for turning is the 50-meter board. I want to use this curb, so the car will be all the way to the left side, and at the 50-meter board I'm starting to turn. Very importantly here, do not do the lift before you turn. First you have to turn the car and then you will do the lift or a small brake, because if you're gonna do it before it, then you will have less downforce. So the key here is to carry the downforce and the speed into the corner, so you will have more grip just because you will have a bit more speed. So while approaching the corner, I'm starting to do a lift. It's not even a full lift, so I'm lifting and I'm still holding right now 10% throttle. And then at the apex on the curve, immediately back on power. You have to be very quick here because you can use all this space without being an off track. So you have a huge runoff on the outside and you really want to use it. Now going into the next corner, my reference for braking is the 100-meter board. At the 100, I'm applying the brakes. In this corner, you really want to carry the speed and make sure you take a late apex, because after this corner, we have a big straight. So there are these two corners, this one and the next one, and then a big straight. You really want a good exit for that straight. So braking with 100% pressure and turning as late as I can after the 50-meter board, apexing around this orange sausage curb and immediately putting the power down. But you can't smash the throttle, the car will just spin. You have to modulate the throttle here, and the ideal path to this corner is the shortest line. The shortest line, it's like a straight line going through this curve, so this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm cutting here as much as I can, and on exit you will be forced on this curb on the right side near the grass. So if you're gonna carry enough speed, your car is gonna be here. That's a cue that you were early on throttle, you used all the track, so you had a lot of speed. Now for the hairpin, the braking point will be the 100-meter board again. So at the 100, I'm applying the brakes, very heavy braking zone. Also, it's gonna be key to use this curb on the left side to open up, so you can brake on this curb without unsettling the car. Going into the corner, I turn in a bit too late for it. You want to turn in a bit earlier. Ideally, you want to still hit this beginning of the white and blue curve. I'm apexing right now at the white line, but you can slightly kiss the curb and you will have a better line into the corner. So not the perfect corner for me right here. However, on the exit, what you want is to upshift to second gear ahead of time, because you will have a tough time putting the power down with this amount of steering angle like I'm using right now. The car will start to be twitchy in the rears, so you want to avoid that by upshifting to second gear, by managing the RPMs. Now going into the next one, this is a flat out corner. What you want to do though is you want to be as close as you can to the right side here on the exit. So at the apex you can force the steering wheel a bit just to make sure that you will align immediately, because the braking zone is very quickly right now. You will have to brake at this exit road on the right side or the end of the first curve, braking very hard initially, and again you want to apex around this orange sausage curve, and immediately when you land, because it's a small compression and then you land, you want to put the power back in, and the car will be sliding at this point, so you will have to manage your throttle input, otherwise the car is gonna spin here. Notice my corrections with the steering wheel. Now going into this corner, you want to open up as much as you can for this one, so hitting the curb on the left, then turning on the right and using this green part of the curb while doing a lift. If you're not gonna do a lift, the car is gonna spin, so in this corner you will judge it by how much you're able to keep the throttle, by minimizing the lift required. So I do a lift like to 50%. If you see yourself you're lifting to 0, that's too much. The next high-speed corner, my reference for turning is this board, this black board on the left side. I want to turn in slightly before it, and while going into this corner you don't want to downshift to 5th, you want to carry the minimum speed, so still staying in 6th, again turning in and then doing the lift and the small brake, not doing it before, so you can carry the downforce into this corner, barely touching the brakes. Like right now I'm holding 4% braking, 5%, and at the curb you want to be back on power. Don't use too much this green part of the curb, you want to use it, just barely touch it with your right tires and then putting the power down. But here it's important again to not use all the exit road on the left side. Just because this curb, this white and blue curb, is a bit taller than the green exit road, the car will be leaning to the left, it will be like this, and because of that the car will bottom out. So in this case you want to use the track less, you want to use just this blue curb, so your left tires will be at the end of the blue and white. Now going into the next corner, braking point is the 50-meter board. You can brake a bit harder than what I did here. I braked a bit softer, but I was trying to keep the minimum speed up. If you find yourself though that you are running all the way to this part right here, then you can brake a bit later. You can brake a bit harder. Very important here, do not use this part of the track. With this car, just because you have a lot of speed, you have a lot of torque, whenever you're putting the power down and you have a slight imbalance in the way that the car is on the track, because again it's the same thing, your right part of the car will be a bit taller than your left side, and then the car will be bottoming out, or the grip levels will be different from left to right and it will make the car unstable. So I recommend not using this part, or if you use it all the way to the green. So it's either you don't use it at all or you use it all the way through. If you're gonna have the car in the middle of it, like left side on the tarmac, right side on the curb, it's not gonna be good enough. This corner right here is flat, but I kinda like to do a small lift just to make sure that I have the right balance. However, in a push lap, in a very aggressive lap, you can do it flat. I think though that this lift can help you with consistency. It's just a small lift. Now for this corner, my braking reference is the moment that I bring the car all the way to the left side. I'm starting to apply the brakes and I'm trailing in lower percentages while still holding fourth gear. You don't want to go in third, you will kill the minimum speed. Now once you hit this kink in the curve, when the row starts to go on the right side, in this middle part, you want to put the power down, but you have to manage your throttle input because your car is very unstable in this part with these twitchy turns. And if you're gonna use too much throttle and you're gonna hit this curve on the left side, the car will be it will bounce on the track. It's gonna be bottoming out and it's gonna be an off track. So manage with your throttle. You see my inputs are not so precise here, but I'm just trying to find the limit, to push it to the limit to the left side. And then while turning into the corner, you want a late apex here. If you're gonna apex early, you will run out of track. So late apex and use a bit more of the curb than what I did here. You can touch the curb and still it would be fine. Then putting the power down and using all the track on the exit. Here you can use the green without the car bottoming out, just because right now it's a straight, it's a big straight ahead of you, and also this difference in height is not that big. And in short, that's a lap around Hockenheim with the Super Formula 23. I hope you have a great week ahead and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.